Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I want to review another horror film based around New Year's, and this is one I completely forgot about. Because a lot of people forgot about New Year's Evil, but I guess maybe they haven't. Because, especially with after showing on Elvira and then showing on Underground through Turn Classic Movies, because MGM picked it up. And what happened was late last night, I'm recording this on New Year's Day, so Happy New Year's, everybody. And late last night, I always watched New Year's Eve when I did my review of it for New Year's. I'm going to put this up Tuesday on January 2nd, so. And Joe for Jeff posted it, and on his thing, he said, on his description, said, let's be honest, there really aren't a lot of New Year's Eve horror movies, so it was this or New Year's Evil, and quite frankly, that's been done to death, the New Year's Evil. And there's a reason New Year's Evil has been done to death. It's much better than this one. And then someone said, are you kidding me? I just watched the trailer for this an hour ago. But, I mean, I watched it later. I wish I hadn't. I mean, I looked up on... Well, the photo he had of the poster art was different for me. And then I looked it up on IMDb, and that's the one, I remember seeing that poster art with, they had, the skull or skeleton with the hat and a New Year party favor on it. And it was released through Academy Home Video. I wondered why I passed up, but there were so many movies back then, I passed up on seeing that one. And I remember renting it when I was in high school, renting something from Academy Home Video and hating it so much I vowed never to rent anything from them again. So that's probably one reason why I never rented that movie. But I do remember that logo but I always passed on. There was lots of movies like that. You see a horror film on video and you pass on it. You know, you say, well, this one's probably better. I watched so many horror films. Just like now on the streaming services, you look and you click past so many horror films. Say, well, I don't know if that'll be any good. Let's see about this one, you know. And what this movie's about, it's a British film. And it starts out whereas New Year's Evil has that song by Shadow, New Year's Evil, which is really cool. This one starts out with a really lame 50s, generic 50s title called, what was it? Well, I don't know. I'm not going to bother to look it up. Never Cry Out or something like that did it. And it was terrible. And, you see a black and white footage, and then all of a sudden someone's pulled through a mirror. And then you see a bunch of people from England with British accents for the most part in this amusement park. And it was kind of like a midway type thing. And the one girl goes on a tilt-a-whirl ride, and there's like these two carnies, and then the guy who runs the machine. And for whatever reason, they're bugging her. She's in the thing. They keep spinning the tilt-a-whirl when it's running. And she's like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. And her friends go on there, and they fight with the guys when it's still running. So that's something different I've never seen before. It's not very thrilling, though. And then the one guy goes underneath where the controls and shuts off there's a big thing. He shuts it off. He steals the fuse from it so they can't run it. And then the carnies are after them, and they all have like these chains, I guess they did that in England, like rumble chains like they had back in the gangs in the 50s and 60s. And they end up fighting them, and then these guys have a boat, and they end up going into like this, the boat's tied to like the trailer, this car, and it's on the trailer. And, they go in the dark ride or the fun house. Or where they had like the car like the Wacky Shack or something like that. And they're pursued by these guys, and then their friends drive the truck through the thing, and they take them out. And then all of a sudden you see them on the boat going towards this deserted island. And once they get to the deserted island, they find this hotel, and this hotel is haunted. And it turns out, this is not a spoiler, they kind of explain all this throughout the movie. It's stuck in a time warp between 1959 and 1960 on New Year's Eve. And they mention when they go into the hotel, it's decorated for Christmas. And said, why is it Christmas for? It's July. So a Christmas in July theme. But I mean, it's not truly New Year's. And a bunch of weird things happen with very bizarre special effects. Something like you see in like a cheesy TV movie. Like a vacuum sweeper going and running by itself, or like throwing like cutlery, or a guy gets sucked into a big blender, and there's one part where they have like this movie theater they go into and it's still playing, and they were playing that cool movie Fiend Without a Face with a brain creatures from the 50s. That's a much better movie. See that instead of this one. And all of a sudden the movie ends, and they start showing the movie starts showing that old Rudolph Valentino movie, The Sheik, and all of a sudden the guy's like right up there on the screen, and they do something from Purple Rose of Cairo. All of a sudden the Sheik grabs up and grabs him, and jumps out of the screen and ends up killing him. And then he goes off in the film projector. Very cheesy effects. But I mean, the only saving grace in the movie are the effects are so strange, like that. I mean, it's probably sounding more interesting than it really is. There's a part where like this handrail had a little bird and it grabs on this girl's hand. I like that part. I like the little Santa Claus they had there. And there's a part where this they're in like this weird elevator and the girl presses a button and the button's like all mush. I like those little parts right there, but I mean, for the most part, it's terrible. And I mean, and usually some people say it's so bad it's good, but this one's just stupid. I'm glad I saw it. And the biggest problem is the characters. The characters are so boring. They're so one-dimensional. You don't care about anybody in there. And like I said, they're stuck in the New Year's Eve celebration in the hotel. And they have like, there's some elements to Evil Dead in there, but nowhere near as good where like people could become possessed. But I mean, it's so lame. And there's only like a little bit of gore in it. I mean, there's one scene for them to have a lot of gore towards the end, and then they cut away from it. They don't show nothing. It's a lousy movie. I heard the director wasn't too fond of it. I guess people have that on VHS. I'm glad I never bothered to rent it. I saw it for free on YouTube. But that's about it. I have no desire to ever see it again. Like I said, the only saving grace was the special effects that kept it interesting enough to see it once. But then it was so stupid you never want to see it again. It was really bad. I give it a 3 out of 10. Just because of the special effects keeping it watchable. But not enjoyable. Because I like silly movies like this. But I mean, this one, I didn't care for it because just the characters are so boring. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So I hope you like this video of Bloody New Year. And then I think Joe for Jeff called it such a Bloody New Year. Because sometimes he tries to put a little bit of his own thing into the movies, which is pretty cool. But I might check out another one I always skipped on, but I was kind of curious about maybe. But I hope you like this video, everybody. And until next time, please take care of my legion.